Okay, so things are starting to look pretty good. We are starting to slowly get a city. Now what we're going to do is this building is a bit special. And it's because we have this large canopy thing over here. So, and then we also need to have like a flat wall here. So yeah, let's go ahead and just work with this. Let's see. We have this one, so that's good. Having building number 10 is good because we can use these trims which we also used over here to basically place our canopy. So we are first of all just going to go ahead and create a building number 10 and then we will create the one next to it also. For now, so if that one will completely encase the rest, then we only need to create this part. So let's go ahead and, that's a bummer, that's undo, and turn on my snapping, and now I can duplicate it. Here we go, and let's create a new folder and just call this one trim_01. Makes it a bit easier to keep track. So we have our corner trim, then we have our long trims over here, another corner, two long ones, and another corner over here. That's totally fine. Now we can just Ctrl+C, Ctrl+V them again, move them up, call these ones floor_01, and just drag this into the main building folder over here. And for this one, we are gonna go ahead and we are gonna go for probably some larger windows. So we have over here our second floor, because our first floor, the first floor does not really work as far as I know. So I just want to have like a quick think about this. I think I'm gonna go straight to the second floor. I'm just having a wonder how I will do my corners, because I do not see a second floor corner here. Ground floor corner, I'll need to have a quick look. That's strange that I cannot find that. So we got these ones. I guess we can just like duplicate these up, but see, let's have a look. Maybe I meant to make it, because I need to refresh my mind a little bit, where we just like duplicate these, or maybe we can just use the ground floor. That's it. That was it. So the ground floor over here will simply fit. So if we go in here and find our material, our painted metal black material, we can use those here. I'm not sure if I'm going to. I think I will use my white plaster 02 on my white plaster. Let's see. So these right now, they are plaster. I thought it was metal, but it's actually plaster. And then I have another plaster, which is white plaster 02, which is like a brighter one. Let's work on the colors a little bit later. The reason I don't really want to work on the colors right now is because it might be that when we start adding our lights and everything, those colors, if we change them now, would not work very well. And then in the end, we will just waste basically a bunch of time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add these colors, find my white plaster, and then drag those on here just to keep it consistent. And now that we have this one done, what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate again, and let's move this up over here. And now I can go ahead and just new folder, floor_02. And I only really do the floor folders if the floor is completely different from the previous one. So if I go over here, now what I'm going to do is I'm probably just going to go for like a tin floor. Let's have a look. Yeah, that works. But then what I will do is I will just duplicate this tin floor many times to basically make this thing work. So over here we have a corner. Like this. And this building, I want this building also to be quite high. So that over here you can also see, like, you can't really see the top of the building. So I don't know how high I want it to be. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's say 4 more windows or something like that. So we can go ahead and grab this. Ctrl+C, Ctrl+V. 1. Duplicate. 2. Duplicate. 3. Duplicate. 4. Let's see. How does that look? Or 3. Let's go for 3. So we have now this extra building over here. Once again, it's like a slightly different height compared to most other buildings. So that's pretty good. Now, one thing I'm worried about is that I have this really large sign, and I don't know how I'm going to actually place this sign properly. Where are you? We have like in our models, we have our props, and we have this neon sign that is really, really large. This one. It's like a centerpiece pretty much. Now what I don't know is if I go here and push this over here. Oh wait, here. Yeah, that will work, because what I can do is I can kind of just like hide it on top of my window. Yeah, that works. Cool. Okay, so I don't really need to worry about that. If you want, you can actually leave the sign here. That's no problem. Now this building, let's give it like one extra trim at like the very top. And once that is done, I will already place the canopy, because I feel like that one is part of the building and not so much part of like the propping stage. I need to turn on my snapping, move it over here. And let's have a look. So we should have like a trim over here. Center trim corner 10. I don't know what. I don't think that actually makes a difference if I do. Oh no, wait, there we go. That makes a difference. That's the one I was looking for. And then over here we have this one. Yeah, see? So that's like another little corner that we can use. There we go. That will fit. Okay, cool. So we have just like this little end to our building. And yeah, I am definitely going to change the material. But first of all, what we're going to do is we have in our assets, and yeah, you will need to get a little bit used to where all the assets are located. So give it some time to learn where everything is. Most of it is just located into the assets folder and into the Emil Sleekers folder over here. Now this asset, I think I actually need to go to buildings. I'm trying to see where I have located this. Did I maybe generate it? Large canopy add-on. Is this the one? Oh, why is it in here? I don't know. That's a little oversight. Often when you make really large environments, you sometimes this sometimes happens. You just have like these random misplaced assets that somewhere along the line I made like a small mistake. But okay, so now we have like this large canopy that I already created, and this canopy happens to fit exactly this building. So what I can do is I can go ahead and let's go ahead and this, I just need to kind of like, yeah, I can actually use snapping for it. There we go, that works. Now I'm just gonna go up here and just try and get like the sign. Ooh, that's a bit of an awkward position. Interesting. Because of course, it did fit last time. You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to make my building a little bit higher. That's what I'm going to do. Basically, we have this bottom trim over here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add another bottom trim on top. So if I go ahead and just select these two, and then immediate children, that should be everything, right? Yes, that should be everything. So if I go ahead and move this up temporarily, then right click and select my trim, I can now just quickly turn on my... Oh, 1 second. Let's undo that. Make sure to have snapping turned on when you move them up, because else they will no longer fit in place later on. There we go. And now select immediate children, Ctrl C, Ctrl V. Move this one up. And now I can go ahead and I can go into my floor 2 and floor 1. Right click, select children. And there we go. Move it down. Okay, great. So this one over here will work well by having it sitting a little bit lower like that. And then if we press Ctrl H again, so height, H is just height and Ctrl H is just unheight. I can now move this up a little bit. Here we go. And that will fit nicely along our windows. Yeah, that works. Cool. Okay, so we got this building done. Now we just need to work on this little side building over here, which is going to be very easy. Let's just go ahead and quickly duplicate this stuff. And we can go ahead and duplicate, move it up. floor underscore 0. Oh wait, of course, because it's in the same folder. B2 underscore floor underscore 01, something like that. Just because the other ones, of course, would not work. There we go. So we got that one. And now we can just go ahead and find this one. And I'm going to go for some simple, let's just do some simple single windows over here. And maybe like a nice double window here. Next we have these corners. Second floor corner, does that work? Oh, it's this one again. I forgot about that. But that should still work. If we just go ahead and move this. Let's move these three. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And then move this one. 1, 2. 1, 2. That should work. This one should not be as bad as the first building, don't worry. So we have this corner, which needs to be rotated, I believe, or not. One of these has like the correct side. Yeah. And then we can go 1, 2, 3. Or 4 even. Yeah, honestly, that should do the trick. So we have these. Although I said that before with that building, and back then it didn't go so well. But let's have a look. So if we go ahead and duplicate this up until this point, I don't want to really make it any longer. And then the last duplication will become our trim. So we have our top trim over here. And also over here. And then this one, honestly, I'm not really in the mood if it does not work well. So I'm just going to kind of then cheat a bit. 1, 2. Yeah, see, so it again does not work perfect. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go here, turn off my snapping. And just kind of like match it like that. There we go. And do the same over here. Because I'm worrying way too much for something that I know you will never ever see. This high up, that close, like the chances of anyone seeing that, it's almost impossible, especially from an image. Maybe if you're flying around and you're looking for it, then you can see it. But else, just some manual placement like this, yeah, no one will ever notice. So we got these pieces also done. That's pretty good. Now what I want to do is then at this point, I do want to probably continue this building on towards the side over here. So what I can do is I can go ahead and Ctrl C and Ctrl V. Turn on my snapping again. And then I just need to go in here and replace these with my tin floor windows. Snap those back. 1, 2. Yeah, 1, 2. And then we will have another tin floor corner piece, which we'll just need to rotate 90 degrees and then move back and move sideways. There we go. Easy does it. And then down here what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to move this one down. And you can or leave it like this, or what you can do is you can replace this one with a first floor trim. One more. There we go. See, that also kind of just works. And then if you just move this one down, you can also use a first floor corner over here. And that will give us like a better transition. And you guessed it, over here all we need to do is we just need to duplicate this one. Move it up. And then we have our center trim 02. And then we have our center trim here like the corner. And there we go. So now if we just go ahead and close up these buildings, then that should be fine. So let's save our scene first. So let's go to our modeling tools. And we can just go ahead and create a simple box again. By this point we've done this plenty of times. I'm going to move this down, out, in, edit poly. Let's move this one nicely down over here. Move this one back. Here we go. It's number 1. And now we can do number 2 over here. Move it back like this. There we go. Move it all the way to the side. Add a poly. And we can just go ahead and do the same stuff again. And then of course for this one we will just like add some edge loops to finish off the look. And honestly for this one I'm just going to end it roughly around here. By that point you won't really be able to see it. Just over here, just in case that we have some kind of weird shadow problems or something like that. I can just go ahead and extrude this out. And then do another extrude over here. And move this one also back. There we go. We can press accept. Go back to the select mode. And we have our pieces here. So if we now go ahead and go to our materials, you can, if you want, just quickly drag on like the black material. Over here. Let's do it also over here. That one. Over here. It looks almost the same. But when it is darker, it will make a bit of a change. There we go. Awesome. So now we have these two buildings also ready to go. I was going to go ahead and change the materials, but I will first of all focus on actually finishing these two buildings over here. And after that we can go ahead and we can work on our materials and stuff like that. So for this building over here, let's minimize my folders so that it's a bit more organized. Now this building should be pretty easy. If we just go ahead and select all of our pieces over here, turn on snapping again, and duplicate it, then we can move these up, and let's for now just call this one, it's probably going to be a trim, so let's call this one like trim_01, but I'm not sure yet. Let's have a look. Oh no, it's not a trim. That is strange. So why would I have this ground floor, ground floor? So we have our first floor windows over here. Oh, sorry, it's all the way up at this point. Oh, that's why. That is why there's no trim, because this one of course aligns at the very bottom. That's totally fine. In that case we can simply swap this out and just don't call this trim, but you can go ahead and you can just click and then long click and then you can change it. Floor_01. Here we go. Let's go over here. Floor 01. And then for these ones I have also a first floor corner, which is a corner like this with just some windows. And that's another one that we want to use. Here we go. Yeah, that should do the trick. So we got these, and of course the only corners that we have are these angled corners. That's why I'm not going to add corners around the back. But to be honest, that makes it a little bit easy, because it means that I don't have to place extra stuff. I can now go ahead and can select this. This one is going to become I'm not sure how high. I want to do roughly the same thing as what we did over here, where there is like this extra gap, because you can kind of see it also happening over here, and I quite like how that looks. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and duplicate 1, 2, 3, 4, and just do one more. Let's do 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over here. Okay, and now I want to try and get something special here. It's a bit tricky. So what I'm thinking about is, what if we can combine two different floors? So at this point, what I will do is I will actually already... Yes, I will already go ahead and go to my modeling tools. And I'm going to already add a box over here. Turn off my snapping. Like that. And then I can go ahead, and that just makes it easier if I already have this all ready to go. Just gonna move this forward just so that I know, okay, that's nice. It's exactly on the line which I wanted. And now I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to move this up until roughly like this point over here. Okay, and now if we go... At this point, we probably just want to go all the way to this side, and then we will just add 2 edges and move that face down. So if we go this one to this side... Yeah, okay, it's a little bit of an annoying one. Like, I'm fine with having like that tiny little gap over there. So let's add 2 edges here. And then press done. And then select this one, and then let's extrude this one out. To like this point. And then you can use this tiny button over here to kind of like scale this in. To a point where we can pretty much not really see anything anymore. Oh, we need to move this one back. There we go. And let's press accept. And that should do it for the first stage of this building. So, my idea was to hopefully be able to combine one of these floors, but like further down, like somewhere over here, and combine them with something that is already existing. So if I go ahead and duplicate this, now most of the time when I make my buildings, I make the metrics fairly similar. I hope that this time I did the same. So I can try first of all this one. Okay, too big. I can try this one, too big. Now we can go to like this floor and I can say, okay, try this one. Ooh, so that one works. So that's pretty nice. I do want to have a quick look. Oh yeah, like the other floors, they would not really match. So we have this one. That works quite well. So what we can do is we can duplicate this. And yeah, if it fits or like fits good enough, like it's not perfect, but if we want, we can clean this up a little bit later. It should be honestly fine. So what I can do is I can go, for example, up here, hold V. There we go, see, and do some snapping. A little bit cheeky, because of course we did not create this piece specifically for this building. But yeah, stuff like that works. And then what you can do is if we just go ahead and move it over here, it will most likely not fit the snapping. No, it does not, but now what we can do is we can start by first of all holding V and snapping it over here. And of course, is that because this side, for some reason my pivot point is not exactly in the center. No, it's not. That means that I would need to, or, well, of course I can change the pivot point, but let's not do that right now. Let's just go ahead and turn off my snapping. And nicely move this. I know it's again like one of those sneaky ways of doing things, but if you know that you will never get close to it with your camera, it's honestly not a bad way to just quickly change things like this. So we have this one over here. And now what we can do is maybe we can fit in even a pillar in this side. It's a little bit on the outside, but honestly you won't really be able to see it anyway. So what we can do is we can go over here. Add another pillar. Yeah, you know what? That will work. Yeah, sure. That's honestly at this point I'm fine with that. And I'm going to go ahead and 90 degrees. And then move this one a little bit up here. Something like this. You know what? I'm going to remove this pillar. You cannot see it. It will just be annoying. And I'm just only going to place a few more windows on this side. Like this. And that should do the trick. As far as I can see. So what we can do is now we can just go ahead and continue duplicating this. So I can go ahead and... how do I call this? Let's add a new... floor underscore 02, and I forgot which building this is. This is building number 05. So floor 02 goes into folder building 05. And then what we can do is we can select it over here. And now we should be able to just duplicate. Yeah, that seems to work fine. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to keep duplicating. I know that I need to change out one of these windows. I'm gonna go... Yeah, you know what? I'm going to stop it here. I like it that there's like... It's not too high. It's probably one of the highest, but it's not like on an insane level high. I don't really like that, especially not with this type of building, because that would feel a bit off. Ah, that's more unfortunate. Maybe it will... still fit? That's not going to fit. That is not going to fit, unfortunately. But we can just kind of like keep this one in here. I know that it has like some holes over here. And pretty much an easy way for us to quickly fix that is to basically go into our modeling tools, grab a very quick box. Let's make the box like only 10 by 10 by 10. You can change the scaling, and then over here you can see that it will work. Press complete. And I'm just going to turn off my snapping and turn on this little cycle button. And what this will do is it will change our gizmo from our world space to our object. So that basically means that will your pivot point in the direction of the entire world, or point in the direction of the rotation of your object. Then we can just do a quick edit poly over here. And as I said before, this is going to be like something very small and subtle. So we just want to kind of like move this, because this one will not have any real textures. Now you can do UV unwrapping, by the way, with this. I can, if I want, just press accept. And I can go in here and you can see it based upon this texture. If I go down, we have a auto UV. And when I press that, you can press accept. And now it's automatically unwrapped. So there is a way to do that. But what we are going to do is we are just going to go into our materials over here. And just drag on, like a painted metal black material. Which is pretty much the same material as the rest. Oh, I can see that there's like a little bit of stretching. Let's go ahead and auto unwrap. Yeah, honestly at this point it does not matter. I'm not going to try and get that all working and everything. But what I can do is I can now just simply duplicate this. Also fix this here just to make sure that there are no gaps or anything strange going on. Now here at the top, it kind of depends. Do we have... we don't technically have a top end for these kind of pieces. As you can see also over here, they just kind of like work like this. The question is that really bad? Honestly, I don't think it is that bad. If you want, you can use like a top piece. So we can go, for example, into just something that has like an easy top piece. Let's have a look. Over here. This is like an easy top piece because it's just like a basic center, and what I can do is I can grab this piece. Now this is really cool. I don't think I've shown you this before. If you go to location, you can actually right click and copy your location, and then what you can do is you can go ahead and go to your like the longer piece, right click and paste it, and then it will paste in that location. If I then turn on snapping, I can, because this should be, well, it's not exactly the same length, but I am able to pretty much like snap it all together. And if I now just go off my grid point, I can go in here and let's say that for this one, yeah, I can like try and change it. Now my plan was that over here I would literally just rotate it and move it. But honestly, if I look at this right now, I don't like the look of it. So what I will do is I will just leave it. It's not worth it. It's definitely not worth our time. And at this point we have those two done. Now I know that this is quite a large chapter, but I still want to finish this last building. It should not take very long to do, but I still want to finish it. What I'm going to do is to make it quicker to finish. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to already duplicate this entire chunk over here. So that we don't have to bother with, this corner over here. So I'm going to just go ahead and duplicate this. Move this, and this one is going to become building 07. Yeah, so let's drag this right away into the folder building 07. Then rotate this 90 degrees. Move it over here. And if you want, you can temporarily just like sink your building down so that you can have a better look. So that you can like more accurately, or you can do the pivot trick, one of the two. So I can now move it up. And I can just go click, click, and now I have like the pivot here. I can then nicely set it onto the ground. And at this point I can turn on my snapping again. And I want to go ahead and start with snapping this corner here. And I also want to start with snapping this one. And then what I will do is I will of course make this building quite a bit higher. It's not going to be this low because it would be strange for our composition to go for like a lower building, because what I want to do is the same as over here. The buildings start off quite low and then they become higher and higher and higher. So it's almost like it's ramping up to like the city center, and the city center itself has like massive buildings and all that kind of stuff. But for now, what I need to do is I need to go ahead and I need to also duplicate this one, rotate it 90 over here, move it a bit and move it a bit more, turn off my grid snapping, and I'm just going to kind of like, there we go. I know it's kind of like sticking over it, but that's honestly, it's fine. I know, you might think it's strange, but you will also notice that the further I get from this location, the less picky I am, because we are so far away from the camera. And then later on, I will just do like a quick polish phase where I just like add some small changes here and there, just in general to make everything look nice. Now, for now, what I can do is I can select, and I like to select also one of the pillars with this one, turn on my snapping, and then go up and move this roughly how high I want it to be. I want to have it probably around this height. I cannot make it too high because else I cannot see the background buildings. But let's say this height. Then what we can do is we can go ahead and we can duplicate this one, duplicate this one, and now it's just a matter of grabbing these pieces. That's a bit strange. Oh, that I don't trust. I'm going to only do these ones for now, because I don't trust that there's like this height difference. I know that the height difference is probably there because of the corners. But of course, I don't know exactly where the corners need to be. I'm going to make the corners probably here. And now I can probably just like move this one down to the point where I want it to be. And then it should be a matter of simply duplicating my pillars. And it should still sort of fit together. There we go. Okay. So if I now grab these. 1, 2. Oh, yeah, perfect. And then it fits. Awesome. So we got that one also done. If we now go to our camera angle. There we go. So you can see that it is starting to already really feel like a city street. Now what we're going to do is we are going to finish this off by just... sorry about that. That is so annoying. When a program, when it's not even turned on, it just forces itself to turn on because it is updating. But anyway, I wanted to go ahead and close this off. Now what I'm going to do in this case is I'm going to duplicate this, yes. But remember, we cannot just change this. What we can do, however, is we can move this up to the point where we want. And then if we go into our modeling tools, so let's go modeling, we can press mesh duplication and then call this one, for example, rooftop underscore 06 underscore B. I don't know anymore. It does not really matter what the name is. We can say output type from input, so it means this mesh. And then it will delete the original mesh. So now if you press accept, it is basically replaced this mesh with this one, which is a duplicate. And now if I change it, it will not change the original mesh. So if I go ahead and just drag this, and when you drag, you can actually select vertices. That's why I'm dragging specifically. Here, see? And nothing changes on the other one. So the direction to which you drag sometimes matters, depending on how you want to select your vertex. So now I can go ahead and I can move this back in here. And at this point that is fine. I do want to go ahead and I want to... Here, let's move this one to make it sort of... Oh wait, I cannot make it perfectly flat anymore. Well, I can, but that would be a pain and it's not really worth it. So what I can do is I can go ahead and I can just move this back over here, accept, and there we go. So that's that one. Now all we need to do is the last one over here is we can go ahead and do a box. The box is really small now, so let's set this back to 100 by 100 by 100. There we go. Quick box. Easy does it. Let's go ahead and move this down and in a bit. And also in a bit over here. And then poly edit, and let's move this in here. That's fine. And yeah, this one is again like one that we can just do very quickly. We can kind of just like quickly push this in here. And honestly, at this point, you don't even have to place these edges over here. That's even overkill. I'm just doing it to stay consistent. But to be honest, yeah, you don't really have to. So we can press done. We can select this, extrude. Move this back. Select this, extrude. Move this here. And finally, last one, select this and extrude. And move this. There we go. That is done. You can grab your black material, throw it on here, and on here. And those buildings are now also done. Awesome. So that marks pretty much the end for like the annoying building placement that we have done. But each building now feels quite unique. And what we're going to do later on is we are going to just start adding different materials to polish it up even more. So in the next chapter, what we will do is we will start focusing on the background buildings and getting those white. And once that is done, I will go ahead and I will do a quick material pass on my buildings, just changing the materials to give it a bit more variation. And then we are going to get started with like some more larger props. Those are props like the scaffolding, like the cars. And slowly we are just going to go smaller and smaller and smaller in terms of like our props. So let's go ahead and continue with this in the next chapter.